Today I'd like to talk about creating subforms. And so the first thing I wanted to do here was take a look at our database and make sure that all the relationships are set up. And you'll notice here that this is just the basic database that we started with. And I'm really interested in creating the titles, the new form for adding in new titles. And for that, I need the titles, I need the title author, and I need a link back to the authors table. So what I'm going to do here, so we have all that set up, and so I'm just going to close out of here. I know that you have a much more complete set of relationships, but this is all we need to do what I'd like to do. And so I'm going to open up the titles table, and I can see that we have a number of titles in here. I'll close it. I'll leave it highlighted. I go to create a form, and in this particular case, it created a form with my with the two pieces. The one piece is the titles, and the other piece is this subform down here. Now, sometimes that doesn't happen, and so what I wanted to show was how to create this subform and put it on there in case this didn't work properly for you. So I'm just going to delete it, okay? And so some of you will have created the form and it looks like this, okay? And that's fine. You say, well, that isn't everything I wanted. I really want that other piece on there. And so I say, okay, let's save this. So we'll do a file save. And we'll call it just the, we'll use this standard thing, FRM, and capitalize the T for form titles and click OK. And I'm going to close it at the moment. Okay. Now, the other thing I need to do is, and I wanted to do some of this anyway because I want the subform to have a little bit more functionality than the one that gets created automatically. So I have the thing I want here is a title author, and I want to create that subform with the title author table, and that as you recall, that's the table that connects the titles to the authors, and lets you have multiple authors for a title, and lets you have multiple titles per author. So I've highlighted that. I go to create form. And I get this form, and this is good. Okay, this is what I'd like. Now, the thing that I want to change here is I want a drop-down box for this author ID, so I can see their name. So what I do is I right-click in there, and I go down here to the bottom, close to the bottom. It might be near the top. Who knows where it will come up? And so you click on Combo Box. We've done this before. Okay, and then I click on Properties for that combo box. We get the property sheet up here. And what I'm interested in is clicking on data here and clicking on row source. I'm going to choose a row source from the authors table, and then I click the ellipsis button, and it asks me here, I'll drag this over, it asks me if I want to create a query based on the table. I say yes, and what I want is author ID, because that's the field I want in there. I also want the last name, because we have, last names are good. I also want the first name because we have, actually, if you look at the table for authors, you'd find that there's two authors with the same last name but different first names. And so I've created that little bit of a query just by dragging those fields down there. I close out of it. It asks me, and again, I have to, I'm using a big screen here, so I have to drag this over. I say yes, I want to save that. So it puts that in there for me. The bound column here is the first one that we put in, which is the author ID. And I need to change my column, switch over to the format here, change the column count to 3, because that gives me the, not the column widths, excuse me. That's not what I want. Those are fine at 1, but I want these at 3. Okay, and for some reason, I'm fat fingering all this. Anyway, so there we go. Now, let's go back to our, close the property sheet out for a moment. Go back to our form, go to form view, excuse me, and when I click on this, I get both the, author ID and their last name and their first name. So this is good. This other stuff we'll deal with in a minute. You'll have to enter the author order in there and the royalty if you need that. And so I need to make one more change. So I'm going to click at the top, go to Design View, and then I'm going to click at the top again, or excuse me, and I want to open up the property. So I click on Property Sheet here. And the thing I'd like to do is go to All here. Excuse me, I need to click in this little box right here. That selects the form. You can see that where the form is selected here. Okay, and what I'm interested in is changing the default view here from a single form to a data sheet. And to do that, I'll have to change this Allow Data Sheet View here. I want to change the, you don't necessarily have to do this, but I want to change the form view to no. I want to change the layout view to no. So it's always going to come up as a data sheet. And that's that sheet that kind of looks like a spreadsheet that we're used to using. And so I click out of there. I click X here, and it asks me, excuse me, if I want to save it, and I say yes. And and I'm going to put FRM here for title author. Capitalize the T, capitalize the A. I'm going to go back to the front and put an S in front of that because I'm going to use this as a subform. So S form for subform. Click OK, and it closes it. Now, I'm going to open up my titles form. I'm going to go into Design View. I want to make this bigger because I'm going to drag that subform onto this form. And I need to move this form footer down. So I go put my mouse over kind of the top of it and then drag that down. What it does is gives me some room on the form to put the title author subform. Now, all I have to do at this point is click on the new subform we made, drag it over here, and let go. And it's not quite in the right place, so I'll drag it over here. And so we put that title author form right on this particular subform. And I'm going to click here for the entire form. I think this is what I need to do. Go to the property sheet, and what I'm interested in, that's not what I want. Click maybe here. Click here for that form. And I'm having some trouble here with my what I want to do there. Maybe this is it. Okay. All right. So you have the orange box around your subform, and I'm interested in this link master field to the child field. So when I dragged it on here, what it did was it hooked up the title ID on the titles form that we had before with the title ID on the title author form we put on there. So we can see that right here so this all looks good to me. I'm going to go back up to the top of this thing. I'm going to click Save It. I'm going to close the property view. I'm going to go to Form View. And here's what we have. So this looks pretty good. What we have here is we have a title ID of BU 1032. We have all this other information we'll put in. We also have the authors and the author order ID and so forth. And if I click over here and author ID, then it does that drop-down box just like we did before. So it makes it easy for me to add another author here. So I put a 3 in here for author order. They get nothing for royalties on that, and I get to choose an author, so I could choose Meander Smith, and there we are. So now when you want to enter a new item, you just click this new blank record here, and you put in a title ID, which would be APB 2024 202, I guess. And you put in a title. I like apples. You could put on I like donuts if you want. Publisher ID, that would be good to have. Right now, we've got to go to the publishers table to find one, 0736. You could put a drop-down box there, 0736. Price of $10.95. And I think we have to have a publisher's date. And here you can choose, of course, the date of March 12th. It asks for a value in the title's type field, so we'll put psychology, CHOLOGY. Okay. And I go down here, and I'm going to put author order 1, make it 100%, and the author ID is Morningstar Green. So I put that in there, and we can go to enter the nenext one, and if we go back to 18, you'll notice everything is there just as we put in. So that's how you create a titles form and create a subform with a drop-down box, and how you enter new titles in if you're interested. So thanks, and we'll see you next time.